to the Diner Podcast, where we eat our lunch for breakfast. Hello and welcome to the Diner Podcast. I'm your host, Red Velvet. With me as always is Uncle Lump.
Hello.
And this is an OG podcast.
We're back. We're off the deathbeds.
Yeah, we've spent 2 weeks on our deathbed. Well,
Shit lingers.
Yeah, we had a week, and then I was sick the first week, got healthy, went to the Royal Rumble, and then you got sick.
Yep. And then it really hit me for like 2 days, and then I've just been fighting that fatigue and headache on and off, and then I had a weird ass like blood blister thingy on my lip that got fucking gigantic and purple and hurt like a motherfucker. But it has.
What herpes was it?
No, well, I guess I don't know. I didn't get it checked. I have a lot of questions if it was herpes though.
Oh yeah, I don't want any of those answers.
Me neither.
Yeah. You got something moving around behind you? There's like flies or something?
There's always commotion. No, there's probably dogs behind me. Why?
Oh, I just saw something like over your shoulder, and I was like,
"Oh, it's probably one of my dog's tails." They're all behind me. So I normally go sit in my room when I do this, but the chair that I normally use is not available. So I came out here and my computer was about to die, so that didn't help either.
I told you not to bother me. I'm cleaning my room.
Pretty much. It's just always quiet back there, and I don't have to deal with the dogs unless I let them in. So they are all behind me. So at any given moment, they will freak out about someone walking down the road, or the mailman really gets them. They really do not like the mailman. I'm fairly certain they would eat that person if given the opportunity.
They don't like the mailman?
No, it's like very, stereotypical dog, but they do not enjoy the mailman. They get every day. They hear the mailbox open, the mail goes in, and they all lose their fucking minds every day.
Would they like Karl Malone?
Ooh, maybe. They might like Karl Malone, the mailman, but the regular mailman from the Postal Service, they are not a fan of. It's actually kind of funny whenever new people are mail people, because you watch them like hop and skip real quick because my mailbox is on my house, so they have to the window. And obviously you've heard my dogs before.
Or the walls?
Huh?
To the window or the walls?
Yes, or the sweat drops down your balls. Either way.
That happens.
But they lose their mind at the window like they are going to come through and eat them. Have I ever told that story whenever I was out knocking doors in my cable sales world? And I knocked on a door, and obviously that happens all the time. You knock, dogs lose their shit. That's just part of it. Yeah. So the dog comes up into the window and starts barking, and his fucking head goes through the window. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I immediately jump off the porch and just take off running and go get in my car. And obviously I could not work that area for the rest of the day because there was now an angry pit bull walking up and down the street that had busted through glass trying to murder me.
And probably angry homeowners, too.
They were not home. So I do not know how angry they were, but I hightailed it the fuck out of there very, very, very quickly.
I'm guessing they were angry when they got home.
I would assume so, yes, because not only was their dog out, but their dog was out because he barreled through the window like the Kool-Aid man and tried to murder me. Wow. So I quickly jumped off the porch and took off. Like, I'm telling that story and I can physically see that house in my head. It was very traumatic. That happened a couple of times. I remember one.
A couple times?
Dude, I was walking back down an alley to go audit, and there was a chain link fence, and the same thing. Another dog was up, running up against it. And I got up to past where that gate was, and I turned around and I saw that the latch wasn't all the way on the damn thing. And I'm like, oh shit. So I obviously saw what was going on. And as soon as I saw it, he hit it again and the latch popped up and I had to just haul ass. And mind you, again, I was fat whenever I sold cable, so I could not run. I got very lucky. It was like in a movie. I ran across the street and a car pulled up right behind me and the dog lost me and I was able to keep going and get back to my car. But that happened multiple times.
Yeah, you weren't going to be able to outrun that dog.
No, hell no. I still couldn't. It was always when I was auditing, though. I would go, because that was always a rough one. You'd have to, walk down alleys or through people's, side things to get back to the poles to go back and check to see if it was hooked up or not. And I did get pulled one time. I walked back and I heard, as soon as I got past the house, I heard, and I'm like, oh shit. And it came around the corner and it looked like it was tied up and it kept going and kept going. And I'm like, oh shit, it's not tied up. and I turned and took off running. Well, there was like a half chain link fence and then an open yard, and my dumb ass ran to the chain link fence. So then I had to try to hop my fat ass over it. And as I hopped up, that dog went and clawed the piss out of me.
Oh,
It didn't bite me, luckily. It just clawed me. My favorite dog story, though, was whenever my uncle got bit by a chow and had to go to the hospital. That was amazing.
Oh, we got attacked by one of them wimpy dogs.
No, dude, it was like a big, well, yeah, I guess, but it was like a big, gigantic, fluffy chow.
Oh,
he was angry as fuck. He was so.
I thought it was like a little dog like this.
No, so basically, I walk out. We were in a trailer park, and I was at the house across, and he was selling the house. Yeah, this is where
not really where you see a chow in a trailer park, but anyway.
No, but anyway, there was. So I open the door, and as I'm walking out, I see him walk past this car. This chow comes out from underneath the car, jumps up, bites him in the ass. He jumps up and smacks it with his pliers and takes off running. Well, then obviously he had to call his boss, and we had to go to the hospital, and it was hilarious.
Did you ever carry a stick with you?
Should have. No, they wouldn't. As many people and animals and things that I ran into that tried to kill me, and we weren't allowed to carry guns or anything of the sort. I was always of the adage that if I could handle myself, I'd be okay. I could kind of talk myself out of situations. The only one that I ever got really close on was this dude was stealing cable, and he was right on the corner of the street. So the alley was super easy to get to. And I walked up and I could just see it hanging up there. And he came walking around the corner, letting me know very, very vividly that he was going to shoot me if I stepped on his property. And I was like, well, luckily I'm not on your property. I'm in the alleyway, so there's not much you can do. And I promptly removed myself and had someone else come out there and cut the cable. But yeah,
how did that go? How did that go for the person actually?
Oh, I don't know. I never went back out for that one. They probably never did it because they probably got the same speech that I did when they went out there, and they were like, "Fuck this! You can keep your cable, buddy."
You can have.
There were so many people that you would cut off, and then contractors or whatever would show up the next night and hook them up again. They were doing it for $50 on the side, so they'd just come out and hook people up. So it was just a constant cat and mouse game that you played with people. And I'm trying to think if anybody else tried to shoot me. I think I've told that story. The dude in the trailer park that I was auditing, and he came outside and told me that I was the guy.
Wife?
That I came in his house, whatever. His wife was taking a bath or a shower or something, and she identified me. She was going to shoot, or he was going to shoot me. And it's well, what do I do here? If I run, I seem guilty. If I stand here and let this crazy people possibly identify me as the person in their house, I'm going to get shot regardless. So
yeah,
probably not.
Yeah. So my question is, so the contractors would come through and charge them $50.
Yep.
Tip for illegal cable. But didn't you do audits once a month?
So no, I was an asshole. I did it. There was people that I had a route where that would be my day every day, as I would start my day by going out there and cutting them. Because most of the time, you could set it up and people were cool. And it's hey man, was it just hooked up when you came here? And they're oh yeah, it was all right. Well, here's our cheapest package to keep you on. Let's just get you on the books. That way we don't have to shut it off. And you could be super cool. But then there were ones that, I said, they wanted to play the game. And then it literally became that. It became a game because it's all right, well, you can either sign up or you can pay them $50 a day to come back and run you new lines. But
so how often did you go?
To cut them down? Yeah. This was so for a long time, this was my everyday job. So that's how you would start. So whatever street I was on, I would go walk down the alleys first. So I would go down the alley, and I kind of have an idea of who's supposed to be on and who's not. And I would walk through the alley and find all my people who were hooked up and weren't supposed to be. Because then, I said, you just knock on the door. Hey man, we're just back here checking on some stuff and saw you guys are hooked up. No worries. Probably on when you moved in, whatever. You just make it very nonchalant. And most of the time, if you find 4 of those on the street, one of them's going to be home and one of them's going to be oh shit, yep, don't want to lose my stuff. Let's go ahead and get that taken care of. And it made it super easy back then to sell, but then they went completely digital. So you had to have the box and all that fun stuff to have cable. So then we lost the joy of chasing people stealing cable.
That does not sound joyous at all. It sounds dangerous.
So it was very dangerous, but it was also such an easy way to make sales where it was worth like the amount of people that opened the door and just fucking screamed at me, like without any context or anything, that would just open the door, motherfucking me every which way was amazing. Like I remember I was out working when I was a supervisor. I was working with one of our guys, and I was like, I mean, I was a block or so away from him. We just started on opposite ends of the street, and it was like, hey, you go do your thing, I'll go do my thing, and we'll meet in the middle kind of deal. Because I always like, especially ones that have been around a while, like there was only so much that I'm going to go teach you. So it's like, all right, let's just ramp up our sales production here, and I'm going to come out and like, let's get some sales today. So we'd go out and have some fun and whatever. But I was down like a couple blocks from him, and I knocked on this door, and this dude, I don't know if he obviously had some shit going on, but he flung that door open and just immediately started screaming. And I just started laughing. Like I could not, that was always like immediate laughter. And I obviously seemed like a fucking asshole, but back then I really didn't give a shit because you were so desensitized to it. It was just like, what the fuck? Like, who does this? But he was yelling at me so hard that the dude I was working with I turned over and he was running down the street at me because he thought I was getting ready to get killed. And I was like, oh no, there's just some angry dickhead that really did not like me.
Wow.
But that happened. That was daily. If I didn't get yelled at on a daily basis, then I probably wasn't working. Like someone every day would just immediately tell you to go fuck yourself. But you're dealing with, like, you're knocking on humans' doors throughout the day. Like my job was to knock on, like when I was working, you were knocking on 50 people's doors in the inner city of Indianapolis. And the goal was to talk to 20 plus of them a day, just based off of numbers and how many people. And like that's the numbers they were giving us was 50 knocks, 20 contacts. And then if you could make one sale out of those 20 contacts a day, you were like really good at your job. So they were essentially banking on 19 people telling you to go fuck yourself every day. So you have to have some thick skin to be able to do it, because I mean, that's your job, is having 19 people tell you to fuck off and one person going, yeah, that sounds good, let's do that. And you're like, cool, I had a great day today.
That sounds awful. That sounds
Yep.
That's not me. Not me.
It was hard.
I don't like door to door. Like I got a cold calls. I don't like cold calling either. Like I'm better at it now than what I used to be.
Yeah.
But like there'd be times I have to make one cold call. It'd take me an hour to dial the number.
That anxiety is real. Like I think I've told that story before too, where I had a dude that was literally, he couldn't make any sales and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I went out and was just kind of sitting one day. It was snowing and I was like, all right, let's get an idea. Is he sitting in his car? Is he going up to the door? What are we getting here? So I sat and watched him for a few minutes, and lo and behold, he was just walking up and down the street pressing the buttons. And it's like, dude, you weren't even sitting in your car pressing the buttons. Like, and come to find out, he just had legitimate anxiety going to the door. And he was like, it like cripples. And I understand it, because there were times that I had it. I just had that ability to go, nope, fucking suck it up, let's go. Like, because you do, like, you get told no 20 times a day, and then you have to just keep going until you find that one yes. So building that like resolve to keep doing that after like whatever, because there are times where you'll knock 3 doors in a row and all 3 people were evil, angry human beings that come out just guns ablaze and telling you how much of a piece of shit you are and how dare you come knock on my door and whatever. Or like you'd knock on people's door and they're like, hey man, like my wife just died. I don't have it in me to talk. And it's like, oh shit, like my bad, man. Like, but you have no idea what you're getting. So
yeah,
you're just blindly hoping for the best that this unicorn of a person's going to answer the door and talk to you, and that you're going to be able to, and that was my job. And every day, like, there wasn't too many days that I didn't get a sale. Like I could probably count on one hand how many days I didn't get a sale. And it's like people took that for granted after a while, where it almost became like the norm, where these people who couldn't get the sales were getting. And it's like, man, I don't think you guys understand how hard this is. Like, you have to find this perfect situation every time, and you're knocking on their door. Like, you know how pissed off I get when people knock on my door and I don't know they're coming? Like, and that's somebody who has sympathy for these people. And like when people do knock on my door, I'll try my best. If the dogs aren't completely going ape shit and trying to eat them, I'll try to slide out and at least talk to them for a second. Like, hey, but I'm very honest and I'm very just, hey, like, I'll hear you out, but not interested in whatever. And I'll hear them out. And then it's like, hey, yep, not interested, whatever. And if they try to do their thing, it's like, hey, listen, did this for a long time. Just, I'm not interested. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste mine. So like, let's just, and whatever. Like I try to be very nice about it because 90% of people would not talk to me. And the crazy thing was I could have saved so many people so much money. They just wouldn't, they didn't want to be sold to. So
Right.
you come out with that immediate pissed off, like someone just knocked on my door. And it's like, but that was one of the big jumping points in showing me how like angry society was. I got to work in Indy, I got to work in Terre Haute, and you get a big collective of the world. I'm working on all these different sides of town. I'm working different, whatever. You get such a melting pot of people, and that was a like general consensus of most of them was there is a lot of fucking anger in our world.
There is a lot. I just, yeah, sales. If I would have made, if I would have been back in the day, knock that door, they told me no, I would have quit my job. I'm like, all right, well,
Yeah.
I'm not good at this. I'm out. And I can't imagine you get 19 no's in a row. Oh, dude, you're sitting there like, am I a piece of trash? Why can I
Yeah.
not
Oh,
just
dude,
shut?
it really fucks with your mental state. And like I said, then you end up with those like worst of the worst people because like obviously some people are just going to be nice and they're going to hear you out. And that was a problem too, where there's also that false yes, where people are too nice, and you have to differentiate between those two because you get people that will, oh, okay, let me look into that, or let me talk to this person, or let me, and that's sometimes that's real. 90+% of the time, that's just them trying to get you off the porch and they're just too nice to tell you to fuck off. But
Yeah.
there are so many people that just do not care at all and will just motherfuck you left and right the moment they walk out that door. And it's like, wow. And I got really, really good at turning that around on people and making them feel like the biggest pieces of shit in the world, where I would just like almost like dial back and be like, oh, I'm really sorry, ma'am. Like I'm just out here doing my job. I really apologize for disrupting you. And then you just watch people fucking melt because they're like, oh my God, I don't know why I just did that. Like, why did, and it was awesome. That was like my favorite thing to do to people was just make them feel like the biggest pieces of shit in the world for coming out fucking screaming at me. And it was like, hey, I'm really sorry, sir. Like, I totally get it. I'm just out here doing my job, man. Like, I really didn't mean to bug you. Like, I'm really sorry, man. And like, you just kind of magnify what a dickhead they were, but in a nice way.
Yeah. Well, that's what, even when I get people knocking on my door, I always hear them out. And I've gotten better. It's like, yeah, I'm probably not going to buy it, but give me let's work on your pitch here.
Yeah. Let
Just
them do their thing. Like that is their job, and it's hard. It's not for everyone, but it got such a bad rap at some point. I don't know if it was like, I feel like the vacuum sales were always a big one there for a long time, where that was
dude.
like,
Well, and that one sucked. Like I never did it. My brother
literally.
did. My brother did that, and he told me horror stories. He goes, "Yeah, you go in there and you vacuum their basically vacuum their whole house." And they're
Yep.
like, "Yeah, we'll buy it." And you've already spent an hour plus in their house. They were like dead serious about buying it, and then you got to do a credit check or whatever to get the next step. And
Yes.
they're done. That's when the sale ends because they're like, "Well, I don't have that," or they
Yep.
don't qualify. It's like I just wasted an hour and a half in this
And
house.
that is door-to-door sales, because that happened. Like, dude, that would happen so many times where these people would ask a million questions and then come to find out they owed us like hundreds of dollars or some stupid shit. And it's like, oh, you motherfucker, like you knew this was from last year. Like you knew you had this and you just talked to me for an hour doing this. But like, and obviously they're looking at it as you're showing up to my house. Why not try it? Like,
Yeah.
and I get that. Like, but yeah, I think the negative connotation kind of came from that world where like door-to-door sales had this stigma to it. So then you're already at a disadvantage the moment you knock on that door. And I honestly, coming up on literally this Friday, Valentine's Day, was when I had that epiphany at that job of like, oh, I can't fucking do this anymore. Like, because I was out, I think I knocked doors for like 7 hours that day. I talked to 120 people, and I think 40 different people had told me to fuck myself. And I was like, I remember calling my boss slash friend and going, hey, I don't know what to do anymore. Like I'm knocking on the same doors every other week, and these people are going, hey man, I don't know how many more ways to tell you to go fuck yourself, but please stop knocking on my door. And I was like, you guys, like, if either we add some things or at the end of the month, I'm out of here. I cannot do this anymore. And then lo and behold, 3 months later, the diner was born.
It's true. That's true. Well, while we're on the topic of Valentine's Day, it's coming up.
It is.
It's tomorrow.
Oh yeah, this is gonna come out on Thursday morning. I was like, oh shit, it is? Like, no, it's not. Tomorrow's the 13th, motherfucker. I have time.
Today's the 12th, but this episode will drop on the 13th. So tomorrow will be Valentine's Day. And I'm excited for it.
So hold on. PSA, all of you gentlemen who listen to this on Thursday, and make sure you have adequate plans for tomorrow for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I've got to send a text to Travis about his he forgot his wife's birthday, so I got to make sure he remembers Valentine's Day.
Man, way to just blast him out on the internet.
Oh wait, it wasn't her birthday. It was a different thing they celebrated. So I have it in my phone to text him on that day. Travis listens to this. I didn't say his last name, so he'll probably text me like, "You son of a bitch." But I'll send him a text tomorrow and be like, "Hey, don't forget."
Well, consider this your PSA, gentlemen. If you have not done any of your due diligence for Valentine's Day, you have less than 24 hours, and you better fucking get on it.
I'm excited because my kids are going to the PBR.
Oh.
My brother is taking both girls to the PBR Friday night and Saturday night. They'll be back home Sunday.
Oh, hell.
I am like, what am I going to do with all my time? Well, that's already.
Are you guys going to do your own Valentine's Day bull riding sessions?
Maybe. I got to get some chaps.
Can you go 8 seconds?
That's usually my average.
Do clowns have to run in then and like clear the area?
No, not anymore. But so we have a big night planned. We're going to dinner. I don't know where, and we're going.
Aren't you supposed to be planning those things?
Well, I asked her if she wanted to go, and she's like, "Yeah," but she goes, "I don't care where we eat. We just got to go to Menards." And I go,
"Okay."
I'm like, "That sucks." I said, "I fucking hate Menards. Like, why do we gotta go to Menards?" And she goes, "Duh, don't you know this house?" I'm like, "Yeah, goddamn, yeah, I know." I go, "I feel like I'm back at 9 years old again, going to Menards on Friday night with my parents. This sucks." Like,
yep,
it's supposed to be Valentine's Day.
Oh, dude, did you hate that too? That was always our thing too. And I remember as a little kid bitching. I would assume my parents can vouch for this, but I used to bitch every single time all the way over to Terre Haute when we were on the way to Menards, because that still to this day, I believe my father goes to Menards every weekend or damn close to it.
And it's like yeah, because my parents, they worked full time, so it was Friday night. We had to go to Menards and get materials for the rental properties, and 6 o'clock we might get to go out to eat. Usually we ate at home and then went to Menards.
Yeah.
And that was when the Menards had the little like employees food, the little sitting area in the middle of Menards on the north. I would just sit there and just pout.
Just be pissed. Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't want to look at it, because it wasn't like Lowe's where they had like a kids section where it was like books. But
and now they do, like they have food and a kids section and all kinds of random shit that you can find and have fun with. So at least it's like somewhat entertaining. But yeah, I feel like when we were children, it was just like a fucking hardware store. So it was just boring as shit.
Save big money. And then when I started working in the family business, we go to Menards twice a day. Yay me. That sucked. Oh, we always went to Arby's afterwards, but
at least you got food out of it.
Yeah, I got to relive that. That was glory days the other day. My dad goes, "Hey, I need help going to Menards." I'm like, "All right, man, I'll go with you." We had to get 36 pieces of shiplap, 12-foot pieces of shiplap. We had to get some trim, and we had to get a toilet, And I was like, oh God, this sucks. And he goes, you ready to go to Arby's? I'm like, yeah. Well, that Arby's we always go to.
Nostalgia.
The Arby's we always went to, obviously the management has changed and it was not good quality. Walk in there and there's just water everywhere on the floor and ordering it. Like they were mopping it, but I felt like I was tromping through water.
The one right there by it.
Yeah, on Lafayette.
Yeah, I used to go to that one all the time when I worked over there.
I went there quite a bit, and then I'm trying to get a drink, and the little girl's like cleaning the soda machine and is not moving. I'm like, all right, Diet Dr. Pepper it is, and my sandwich was okay. I mean, it was good, but it fell apart a lot, and I was like,
you don't want a sloppy, falling apart roast beef sandwich.
No, I've had those most of my life. I don't want it. No. I'll get them sloppy ones no one wants, but
I feel like the older you get and the longer you're married, Valentine's Day becomes like hey, are you gonna get me something? Because then I feel like
we just had that talk yesterday. She goes,
had that talk this morning, I think, because
she's like, I don't want anything. I'm like, you don't want anything? She goes, I don't want chocolates, I don't want flowers, and I'm like, okay. Good, because I probably
was sure. Is this a trap?
It's a trap. Good Admiral Akbar over here. It's a trap.
So, okay, but did she say she doesn't want gifts at all?
No, she didn't want shit. She just wants to go to Menards.
Okay, well, there you go. But I think too, like that can be a gift, like doing like something to your house or like getting something like that, or going somewhere. Like I would rather do that. Like I would rather take that money and go, hey, why don't we just take a long weekend and go here and do this, rather than spend the money on like you buying me something and me buying you something, and then we're both like, okay, cool. And then like, because obviously we're both trying to continue with the workout and everything, so neither of us really want candy. The flowers, like I'll probably still do flowers. There's no chance she will have time to watch this, so I will still 100%.
Well, let me give
flowers
you
or something just to like.
Let me give you a little secret. If you buy, it's going to take some work to keep them alive. But if you buy the flowers before February 7th, you can get them cheaper than from 7th to the 14th.
Yeah.
So you got to keep them fuckers alive.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to do it, but you got to. You get them cheaper.
If you're in a terrible relationship, do that, and then you can be like, "Hey, like our love, these flowers have died. Happy Valentine's Day." And then
I just break up with her, save the money.
A fair point.
If it's doomed, just I'm not buying you flowers this time, but I am going to get some chocolates because I enjoy eating the chocolates.
There you go. I feel like even when they say they don't want something, like that means don't spend a shitload of money, but still do something sweet. Or that's the way I take it. I might tell her I'm going to not do something, but then I'm still going to do something little just because. Like I feel like that's the right thing to do.
I'm a real Rico Suave here. We're going to Menards.
You kill the holidays and the like sweetness.
Oh yeah, dude. Because we're going to Menards this Valentine's Day. Last Valentine's Day we went to Publix and ate lunch. Spent all day in the brand new Publix in Louisville, Kentucky. They have a bar at this Publix.
Really?
Yes. She talked about getting a hotel just to go to fucking Publix because it had what did it have? It had the bakery and it had a deli and then it had like Tex-Mex and then it had like sushi and it had something else. And we spent all day in this Publix and it was pretty cool. It was 2 levels. You could like eat upstairs. It had that bar in it and it had craft beer.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool, but I'm like, yeah, I'm cool with that. I guess go to Menards because that's her gift is going to Menards because we're gonna spend a fuckload of money. So
see what you do is you tell her while she's getting ready, you go and get gas and you go get her a Diet Coke and a singular rose to have in the seat for the trip over.
What I'm gonna do is
you said what I'm gonna do.
What I'm gonna do, I'll get her a Diet Coke, but I bought that mixed plate cup, and you get free refills out of that big fucking tumbler. I'm gonna go over there, get me a filler up, come back. Hey, it's this tall. It's
like what? But you actually are gonna go like further and out of your way to fill up that cup. So see, you actually are. I think that works.
Maybe I'll get some sushi on there too. And
There you
that's
go.
for me. That's my gift to the sushi.
Eat yourself a little snack on the way over.
Exactly. I don't know where we're going to go because she always wants to go to Menards on the south side, and I get lost in there because I've been there like 4 times. And
it's huge too.
It is. And I'm like, well, what's there to eat down there? And I'm like, well, I can go to Five Guys and get a $70 hamburger, but I don't want that. So I don't know.
I'm a big fan of McAllister's.
McAllister's, I went there for the first time with you in September. That was pretty cool.
I like it. I mean, obviously, like, it's just sandwiches, soup, potato, and chips and stuff. Like, it's nothing crazy, but they just always have really good sandwiches.
They do. I like that. So what?
Speaking of really good food, we just did that HelloFresh. My wife got like a thingy in the mail, and we got like free box or something. I have one to give to you, but we got a free box, so we tried it. And we had a shepherd's pie was the first one. I didn't even know what the fuck a shepherd's pie was.
What is this?
Okay, so it's like ground meat and vegetables with like a cheesy mashed potato style.
Like a pot pie?
Kind of, yes. But it's like carrots and potatoes and cheese and meat. But it was fucking phenomenal. I am not a leftover person. I usually I don't know why it grosses me out, and I'm not good at eating the same thing multiple days. And I'm fairly certain this is the 3rd day in a row I would absolutely walk in there and eat another chunk of it for lunch. It was incredible. I was blown away.
Well, I've heard about shepherd's pie, and I was like, is that the one with meat?
Yeah.
So it's not a dessert at all.
No, it is very savory. It almost looked like a sloppy Joe kind of consistency, but it did not taste like a sloppy Joe. It was absolutely fucking delicious. And it's all that HelloFresh. So it's the healthy ingredients. It was all pre-done. So you don't even really have to you have to cook sort of, but it's all pre-measured and done. So you just follow the directions like a Lego and just dump the shit in when it tells you to dump the shit in. And I think we have like a pork loin and a buffalo chicken or something we have to try out. So I will report back. But the shepherd's pie was surprisingly delicious. I was honestly debating whether I was going to eat it or not because we did our live show the other night and podcast, and I came home and they were laying down and I saw it was in there, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a big boy and I'm going to try it and we're going to see if we like it or not. And then
I'm going to try new things.
God damn. I ate a chunk of it. I went back and got another chunk, and then I ate it again for lunch the next day. And I'm fairly certain if we weren't going to Pappy's here shortly, I would absolutely go have another chunk of it. It was phenomenal.
How big is this pie?
Dude, it was a whole,
you're holding it up and your arms are in the screen.
Yeah. It's bigger than the fucking screen, but it really was like a full casserole pan. It was portioned for 4 people, and me and my wife, I don't think even ate a quarter of it. It was so much, and it was very, very filling. We just ate it with a salad, but yeah, the HelloFresh meals so far, 1 out of 1. I would give it a 10 overall. It was very, very, very good.
Nice. I've never had HelloFresh.
Yeah, maybe we can get a sponsor from them. HelloFresh. There's your free ad. Now sponsor us, please. But I have a coupon for you for a free box that you can do the same thing.
I like coupons.
Yeah, me too. Well, yeah, you get a bunch of it gave us 3 meals, I think, for free or some crazy shit. So I'm like, yeah, we might as well try it.
No, you can't beat that, man. That's pretty cool. So what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
I'm not sure yet. I think we are in the same boat where our daughter...
Go to Menards too?
No, our daughter is not going to be here, and my son's with his mom this weekend, so I think we have a free weekend as well. So I don't know. We always like to just venture off to random places, or we will go order a bunch of food and come back home and just hang out and veg out with no children. So one of the two. We'll either go find somewhere random to go hang out for the weekend and go have some fun, or we'll just stick around here, which we can promote. The Brazil Elks has the comedy show on Saturday night. So I think we were leaning towards staying around here, obviously for that. And that way, if the kids need anything or whatever, we're not crazy far. But Yeah, I don't think we have anything crazy planned. Like I said, I'll probably do the flowers and stuff, and
Yeah.
then go with whatever she would like to do for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I plan on burrowing in the house and just sitting in silence. Sound of silence.
Sometimes that's a very underrated thing, like being able to just sit in silence for a few minutes. Because
Yeah.
I'll do that sometimes where like I just like stand in the shower. You always make fun of me about being in the shower forever. Like there are times where it's just like it's quiet and it's you can just like sit there and check out. Sometimes I'll turn music on and you just kind of stand in the warmth, especially when it's fucking freezing outside.
Yeah.
You can kind of stand in the warm water and it's just that like I don't know, that calm silence for a few minutes and it's like there's no technology in here, there's no screaming people in here, like I can just check out for a few minutes.
I've never done that. I always put music in there so I can sing.
That's so it's not bad to like I'll go back and forth. Sometimes I like to just sit in silence, or other times I like to have the music rocking out, so you can put on a concert and a show while you're showering.
That's right. I like to put on a show.
Well, yeah, so you eat it like Charlie Brown and bust your fucking head off the back of the bathtub.
Well, I don't get that. I don't get that wild in the shower. Jeez Louise.
I just picture you the way you dance and everything else. Like I just picture you in the shower just getting after it.
I mean, I've done that a time or two. But...
Hold on, I would like to clarify. I do not picture you in the shower getting after it. I meant dancing. Let's clarify what I'm picturing you in the shower doing, because those are mental images I didn't need.
Well, you just gave them yourself. That's on you, pal. You did that yourself. It's been,
I wonder. I have to go to war with. I've been trying to commit genocide against the ant population.
You and the queen ant are gonna.
Dude, I don't know how they keep retaining the numbers that they do. I need to get with some of these career war people and figure out how they do this shit, because I have.
You mean exterminators by career war people with ants?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm about to the point where none of my tricks are working. I lured them in with honey, and then I added borax to the honey. So whichever one of the fuckers went back to the hive and told them that they live in a hive, or where's the colony? Where do the ants live?
I think it's a colony.
They live under my house on a slab, apparently, is where they fucking live. And I have attempted to commit mass murder, and they have lost lots of troops. I don't know how they're still functioning, but I think we may have gotten them with the honey and the borax, because one of them went back and told the rest of them that there was sweetness afoot. And then I mixed in the poison, and now I'm hoping that I have taken down the whole colony.
Oh,
but we shall see.
I just spray them with Windex when I see them. That works for me.
I go with the methodical approach. I have sprayed. I have done all sorts of things. We've put out traps, and they just keep coming back. They keep finding new routes into the house. So possibly may have to call an exterminator if the old borax does not work. But luckily, right now they're only in one spot, and I have them contained in the mixture of death.
Well, there you go.
So
we haven't had, knock on wood. Got it. Knock on wood. We haven't had any ants here, but at the duplex when we lived there, they always say they came in the kitchen in the same spot, and I just spray them bad boys with a Windex, and they died.
These things apparently have superpowers, because not only have I sprayed, but like I have sprayed, I have cleaned, like I have literally went to war with these little bastards. And they do not go away. They have come up with some solid resolve, and they seem to be forming together in numbers to try to take my spirit.
They're forming together to take me out.
But I do feel like I am currently in the midst of a war with the ant population.
Well, you saw that episode of King of the Hill, didn't you?
No. What did they do to fix this?
This was early seasons. Hank wouldn't let Dale be his exterminator anymore because he got new grass or something. And Dale just started throwing colonies of ants into these, and they started colonizing, and they took over the whole yard. I mean, tore it all up. And then at one point, Bobby was sniffing that he started collecting ants in a little jar and was like, huffing the ants, and got under their spell, and he was feeding them and things like that. Well, then they overtook him, covered in ants.
No. That might be what happens.
I know. Then Dale was like, give me, and like took his hand, and all the ants went on the tail and bit him, and he passed out. Yeah.
So I did feed the ants. So maybe we are onto something here. And now I'm either going to become one with the ants, or they're going to band together to try to take my life.
Yeah,
But
I don't know, man. I'll let you make that decision.
Law.
Well, you got to be careful with the ants. You got to be very careful.
Hopefully they die. So I had another random scary one. Actually, the Super Bowl was on Sunday. Let's do that one first.
Okay. Yeah, the Super Bowl's on, and the Chiefs lost. Thank goodness.
They did. I was very surprised. I was expecting the Chiefs to win in what I assume would be a close game for ratings, but they never showed life at all. Did you see Mahomes smacking his head off the ground very, very early on one of those sacks?
No.
So that was a running one on Twitter there for a little bit after the game was over. He's running to the right, and they trip him up, and he goes down, and his head bounces right off the turf. So they're like, oh, maybe that's why he was seeming a little bit out of it the rest of the game, because it definitely did not seem like normal Mr. Patrick. He was getting the shit beat out of him.
He was. Did you see Travis Kelce looked like a 70s actor?
Yeah. Did you see how many fucking blocks he gave up on? There was somebody who dissected on Twitter as well, but it was like a multi-clip of Travis Kelce just like half-ass running into blocks and just kind of going, ha! And off they went to make the tackle or like made the play, whatever. And it happened. It was like, I don't know. I think I made it like 2 or 3 of the analogies in before I was like, yeah, clearly he was not quite.
Yeah. I heard
the effort.
I heard another rumor that Pat Mahomes was trying to negotiate a new contract. $500 million wasn't enough. He was basically throwing the game to show the Chiefs, hey, pay me, or this is what it looks like.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Those guys seem too competitive, unless it really is like scripted. Then, and that could be as well. Like maybe, I don't know. It's so hard because it's just like everything else in the world. Like you can speculate, and there's plenty of things that connect the dots and whatever. I think our whole world might be like that. So it's all sports entertainment.
Well, the refs didn't get as bad as what I was expecting. I was very shocked.
No, but when the whole world is talking about it and you see like that's just the general, like you almost at some point you have to pull it back because it gets too bluntly obvious. Look what's happening like in the political world, in the real world right now. Like it's the same thing. You can only run these things for so long before the shit starts unraveling on you, where people start getting pissed or NDA agreements start falling off, or however it works out, or people just stop giving a shit and say, hey, you know what? This is what happened. Because supposedly that's what we're getting ready to get into when that Kash Patel gets put in as the FBI director. He's releasing everything. JFK, the MLK, Epstein, Diddy, the 9/11, the UFOs. He said, fuck it, I'm releasing all of it.
I thought they already released the JFK ones.
Supposedly they did. I don't know that anything like concrete. I know that they signed the stuff to do it, I believe. I don't know that they've actually like put it out, or I have no idea. It's so hard to figure it out because everything's flooded every day. According to Twitter, they've been out for fucking years and everybody already knows what happened. And it's so difficult to decipher, but it's getting easier. The more like lately I've gotten back on it and I've tried to like, if I see ones that I know are bullshit, I've been unfollowing, muting, whatever, trying to get my algorithm back to where I'm at least getting the gist. Like I had to unfollow Elon Musk and Alex Jones both because it was like because I got on there and my first 12 fucking tweets were Elon. And it's like, I mean, while I get it, it's your platform and I get it, like you're doing a lot of cool things with the USAID and that kind of stuff and figuring this shit out, but I don't need to see your like only your tweets. Like I feel like that defeats the purpose of this collective and getting the idea of what everyone's saying about everything. And it was the same with Alex Jones. Like he started, like, don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of shit that he's right about, but everything is that over exaggerated tone. And honestly, that's why we're starting that DNN, because you can't, it's so hard to find this shit. And then obviously there's not a lot of people that pay attention to that, like things going on in the real world, it's so hard to follow. It's so time consuming. Like you can spend all day every day, and it's just like watching a movie every single day. There's going to be 10 new developments, there's going to be 10 new conspiracies, there's going to be and you can drive yourself fucking crazy. So I've gotten to the point now where it's for research purposes, and I limit how long I'm on there. I've gotten to the point now where I just like, if I like catch myself sitting scrolling, I'm like, yep, fuck, put it up, and I'll just walk away and go do something. Because it like, I can tell it starts fucking with me. Like you can't solve all the world's problems. You can talk about them, you can be informed and figure out what's going on, so you kind of have a gist. Like that was kind of the gist of the Super Bowl halftime performance. While not the best performance per se, like there were definitely some songs he hit that were mainstream, very popular, but the whole gist of it was to get to the "They Not Like Us." That was the whole gist. That was the whole point, was getting to call Drake a pedophile in front of the Super Bowl. Like that was what they were doing. Like, and that was what he was going for. Now, did they do it in the correct way? Was this some big symbolism thing that is going to lead to more or whatever? But there's always that. You can find that in anything. So while I understand what people were saying, there were also a lot of symbolism of the dude literally called out pedophiles on that main stage. And I guess that's one of the biggest human trafficking weekends,
Yeah.
is the Super Bowl. And that was
Yeah.
kind of their shot at it, of this is like a new regime kind of thing, where Trump was the first sitting president to go to the Super Bowl. They booed the shit out of Taylor Swift in the stadium. The Chiefs went down. Like it was supposedly it's like this sign of good things to come. But then there's the other side of the world that's all saying this is like the Great Deception, and that this is all this like false evil coming in, or false prophet coming in, that's actually evil, and that this isn't the golden age. And but that's what I mean. You can drive yourself nuts trying to figure it out, and who knows? So now it's become a thing where, like we've talked about on the podcast before, just living day-to-day life and going with the flow, seeing what happens every day. Like I can't predict the future. I have no fucking idea what's going to happen, and I can't change the past. So I can live every single day, and I can go with the flow of what happens and what I'm doing. And there are times where you'll pop things in your brain that you think about, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? It doesn't matter. Like I can sit here and think about that, but it doesn't do anything. What can I do right now to make that happen? If that's what I want, or that's where I want this to go, like what can I do today to take a step to do that? And it's made life so much like more simple, I guess, because I lived in my head all the time, like trying to figure out what was next, trying to figure out what the next thing we need to do is, what's the next thing I need to do with my kids, where's the next place, where's the next event, where's this, where's that. And it's like, it's exhausting because you're never in the moment. You're just constantly going from one thing to the next, and it's like that rat race. You kind of get in that endless hamster wheel, and it started driving me crazy, where I had to like, okay, let's take a step back. We can't solve all the world's problems. We can solve our problems. So let's figure out what things we don't like in life, and let's do those today. What can I do today that makes this better? And I've just tried to do that every day. That's been my new goal, is that, like, all right, did I get to the gym today? Cool. I made my body better. Am I eating right today? Cool. My health's going to keep going that way. My weight's going to keep going down. Like, and same concept with like the business, with my family, whatever. I just use that same thing. Like, all right, well, I have 3 hours in between me getting done with the gym and my kids coming home. What can I do? Okay, I'm working on this. Okay, I'm exhausted. I'm fucking taking a nap. So when my kids get home, I can give them my full attention, or whatever. Like, and it's just taking that every day and not living either forward or behind, because I think that's where you get, or at least for me anyway, I got stuck in these patterns where you're either dwelling on the past or obsessing about what's next or what's in the future, and you forget to figure out what's now. And I don't know, I read a lot of things and watched a lot of things and was like, okay, I got to start like figuring out how to just go with the flow day to day and live life.
Yep. Live in the moment, be present in the moment. That's what I've been working on as well.
It's
And
hard.
it is hard. And that's what I have. I'm sitting in a room full of memories right now. And it's
Yep.
like, it's hard to fucking like, you're like looking back. Oh yeah. And I look over here at this fucking sign and I start crying. So I
Yeah.
won't look over there right now.
But I think that's like you want those things, like
Yeah.
and I guess I should clarify that. Like you want to remember the past, you just don't want to dwell on it. You want
Right.
to use that for fuel or for motivation. Same thing with the future. Like if you don't have an outlook on the future and what you want to do, you just can't obsess about it. You can't live in the future of what is possibly going to happen, because you get the same thing. You're in your head and you're making like you're still not doing anything to do it. You're just in
Right.
your head about those things. And it's like taking that want for the future and like putting it into play now of, okay, well, what am I doing today to get where I want to be? Is it whatever those goals are, you kind of can boil it down to that. Okay, well, what step can I take today to do something to get towards that goal? And then just do that every day. And then before you know it, the shit starts like falling into your life. And it's like, okay, we're doing this now.
Yeah. Yeah. The ship is in sail or set sail. I don't fucking know. I don't know the terminology. No. No, you gotta look back sometimes, look ahead and live in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, and it's a lot to like grasp and try to put into play every day, because your brain just kind of by default, I feel like, resorts to that a lot of times, where like that nostalgia thing happens, or that trigger, or whatever you want to call it, pops up and either affects you. The positive ones I feel like are always good. Like you kind of have that like, oh, that's cool. But when you have those negative triggers that pull out those bad memories, I feel like that's when it can spiral out of control, where it's like if you dwell on that or you don't handle it or whatever, that's when it starts like, I don't know, kind of spiraling out of control, where then it's like one after another start coming. But if you can get out of it quickly and like, no, like the fuck are we thinking about that shit for? And just move on, then you don't give it any energy, and it doesn't turn into a real thing. Which, speaking of that, I told you I had a weird one that I wanted to talk about. So I saw a video. So have I talked about my like simulation theory with like all of it, with like the Bible and everything on the podcast? I know I've told you about it, but so I had the analogy. I was talking to my wife one night, and I had watched something or saw something, and I was like, hey, what if it's all real? Like, what if each place just has like bits and pieces of it? So what if like Christianity is real, reincarnation is real, simulation theory is real? Like, what if it all plays into it? So then she's like, okay, like, where are you going with this? And I'm like, okay, so hear me out. What if this is all a game and it is a simulation, but it's all geared off of the same thing, where the Bible is like the book of rules, where if you follow these like quote unquote ways to live and you avoid these deadly sins, the game of life becomes easier. So the more kind you are, the more you put good things in the world, the more that stuff will level up, and vice versa. You can choose to play the game in a negative fashion and be angry and mean and negative and lie and cheat and steal, and you could play that game too. And what if reincarnation is you just basically are the same soul or life form, whatever the hell it is, and you just keep trying it until you learn how to live life the right way. And like we're all here for a like experience of how to live like a human. So then I watched a video today that they have taken organic brain matter and they have taught it with computers like AI and created a butterfly simulation where these little brain matter things are in a lab, but these brain things are controlling this butterfly simulation, and they feel as if they are the real butterfly in this simulation. So they've taken brain matter, plugged it into AI, taught it, And now this thing's been plugged into a literal simulation, and this thing is living a life as if it was a butterfly.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like, how fucking wild is that? So what if we're all just brain matter in a lab somewhere, and we're like whatever this higher power is, and we're living this simulation or game? And it was like, oh, that is fucking fascinating that's essentially what they're doing. And then what if you combine that with AI and these robots? What if they eventually get to where that brain matter grows and they are able to recreate or enhance an AI human brain that they then plug into these fucking Optimus robots? And what the fuck are we going to be anymore?
What's that movie where they're just sitting there living in with the VR headsets? Kids movie.
Yo, God damn it. Yeah, but
That's probably what it would to be is being that.
Pixel?
Huh?
Is it Pixel? Is that the one where it's like?
No, that's with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I can't fucking.
It's an animated movie, but it's like everybody gets fat and then they
Wall-E.
just. Huh?
Wall-E.
Is it Wall-E?
Where they're fat and they're floating in space and everyone's on like the cart things.
Yeah.
And the little robot goes and finds the plant. Yeah, that's essentially what we're creating right now. Like, I don't see a form of this that doesn't make humans obsolete.
Well, that's what you see this with the AI. You see, I mean, people losing jobs. You see people, it's like eventually, and you see technology's been replacing people. You got self checkouts now. You got the laser machines that'll do all that stuff. And all these machines that'll take care of that. Now you're going to have robots that will eventually replace people. I mean, will they wipe out everybody? No, but they're going to have, say you have 10 robots, you have one human to serve it to make sure that they are doing their job per 10 robots. So where you eliminated just 100 positions right there.
And it's not going to get like this is the Atari, this is the brick phone, like this is the record player, like this is the base model of where this is going to go. And look at what just has happened over the last 100 years in technology. Like, and it's going to just keep ramping up. Like, we've just talked about this simulation stuff as like theory and whatever, and then I watch a video where that's literally what they're doing is they're learning how to create this like artificial life where you can't differentiate this from reality. Like, if you put that in your head, you literally become this butterfly. And now you think you're a butterfly flapping around, flying, like, and you can't differentiate from Evan or a butterfly. Like, when you're in this thing, you forget that you're Evan. You now are just this butterfly. Yes.
Can I get smarter brain matter? If we're literally in the simulation, can I get a different brain to make me smarter?
So I think that's the next step. I think they tried to integrate us with AI. I think that's why they're pushing the vaccine with the AI implanted. They'll eventually start pushing chips where that's just the logical. If they're teaching this shit with real organic brain matter and they're combining it with the AI technology to teach it, that seems to be I mean, to me anyway, that seems to be the next logical step. Is they're going to go, it may go from like the Google glasses to a contact lens to then they're popping a chip in your head somewhere.
Well, that's like the thing I saw. It was a Super Bowl commercial with the Hemsworth brothers. They got them Ray-Bans that it's like social media now. Dude, like when we say, like when our parents told us you're on camera all the time. No, now you will be on camera all the time.
That's why we just embraced it.
Well, yeah, but we're also social aware of like, okay, like you can't just fly off the rails and say
you can. It just doesn't. It doesn't generally go well.
But like you get like, let's talk about Mr. Hulk Hogan. The crazy things he said.
Yep.
You know, now you're on camera all the time. He should be used to that, and he obviously not. But it's just like, oh, dude, like you're being watched all the time. And I'm sure my PlayStation's watching me. I'm sure everything is watching me, and they're probably not impressed seeing my naked fat ass everywhere. But
so I just watched during my couple of days of sickness. I may have already talked about this, but The Night Agent. So it's a CIA show where it's like these operatives that are like all secret kind of thing, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, this girl has a marketing app that she develops that is essentially like it helps pull all of this person's like purchases and blah 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 to formulate the best like marketing strategy per person, and obviously you can sell this to businesses everywhere, whatever. Well, then once she needs to find someone, she changes the algorithm to where not only is it searching for like all of these things, it was already searching you via facial recognition, but then it was dinging you on your camera on your phone. It was dinging you on the bank, the doctor, and it was able to formulate everything you've done over the course of the last 30 days. And then she was able to track people better than the CIA. Obviously, this is just a TV show.
Yeah.
But boy, does it seem like they have things like that where that technology has to be there to an extent, especially with what we're seeing. Like they've got some wild shit with these direct energy weapons and with the drones we're seeing and all this other wild shit. Like our military has some fucking technology that we know nothing about. And obviously that's for wonderful, obvious reasons and keeping things safe and secret. At least I like to hope that. And
that's
but
the way I look at it. They're doing all the right things.
yeah, and I hope that's what they find out with this like the USAID stuff, where how much of that money was going to these wild fucking things that made no sense, where I mean they've found billions of dollars worth of just random expenses. Now my question is are they utilizing that to fund these CIA operatives? Are they using that? And I know that obviously it was a slush fund to come back to these career politicians too, obviously. But I'm very excited for it to play out, and I feel like that's a perfect transition to let people know that DNN will be debuting very, very soon. I believe Friday is the plan. So hopefully we can get one recorded and get it out. And that's kind of the goal of this, is to, I don't know, kind of inform people on the things that we see on Twitter and dive into the way it all connects and all these different crazy rabbit holes. And it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of informative, a lot of conspiracy, and we will just, wing it, hope for the best that no one murders us.
Well, there you go. There you go. That'll be, when are you wanting to drop those? On
I
Fridays?
believe that's going to start dropping Friday afternoon.
Cool.
Is the plan. So I believe that's the game plan right now, is to have those dropping Friday afternoon. I'll try to put something out tomorrow or Friday once I get an actual like plan here. So that's the game plan, is to start that this week and start utilizing it to hopefully fill people in on the wildness that is the Twitter world.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because there is.
You can also find cool things like this on the Twitter world too, though. So you have
to. It's not all scary.
It's not all scary. Then you can get smiling sharks like this fella. Oh shit!
That shark is not really. He's still scary. He
is terrifying, but he really enjoys pets.
Well, I'm not petting him.
But yeah, so Twitter's not all crazy. You get some like fun animal videos. Lots of murder.
Well, I have lots of sports on mine.
That's good. It's gotten so hard. I feel like I'm playing Russian roulette with my Twitter feed at all times, because it could look like the nicest video in the world, and then out of nowhere, people pull guns and start fucking shooting each other, and it's like, God damn it!
Yeah,
I didn't need to see that.
That's wild.
Or like like the video starts, and then it just like immediately someone gets shot, and it's like, oh great, that's what I wanted to watch, was that person get killed. Like, great.
I'm gonna hop on my Twitter feed real quick. I'm gonna see the first thing that pops up.
Oh, I guarantee our things are so different. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait.
Well,
what did you get?
The first two was Alex Jones and Elon Musk, but I always scroll past them. Ricky Starks, baby, wrestling.
Oh, there you go. Mine is the receipts of all of these different pedophiles, of people posting all of the wild shit that they've either put out on the internet or whatever. So it's literally going through a list of all of the different pedophiles. And then the next one is it's Drew McIntyre making fun of LA Knight.
Yeah.
Wrestling and craziness.
Well, kind of that's what mine is because Elon, I didn't unfollow him. So
I didn't unfollow him. We took a break. We had to mute the post because I can't only see your shit. If I only see your shit, that is I feel like gross misuse of your platform. Like this is for collectively. Just because you tweet every 3 goddamn seconds, that's not my problem. Now,
how does he tweet so fast?
He has to have an assistant and that reads shit on Twitter constantly, and that's what they're doing is they're informing him, and he's firing back responses, and they're tweeting it for him. There's no way this dude just sits on his phone all the time, and
or his technology is so advanced, he's just talking, and it's like Iron Man.
Maybe he already has that chip in his head. Maybe what was that? There was a show. Fuck, I can't figure out what it was called.
Star Wars.
It was essentially they had a chip in their head and your phone was in your head. So you could see like the Google screens, you could see your call log, your text, and like you were visually seeing
how could you drive down the road?
You could I think you could turn it on and off. Like you could go in and out of it, but that was the problem. Most of the people stayed in it all the time. So they just had screens up and it was driving people fucking batshit crazy.
My next question, could other people see what screens they were looking at?
Yes, I believe that was part of the problem. Was I think they were like you could like connect.
Wasn't that on Black Mirror?
It may have been on there too, but that's me
a wild
that
show.
With the rest of what this shit's doing, that's gonna be one of the next steps. Is they're gonna show you that hey, look, we can just inject you with this, and you'll have your own phone in your brain. And I would almost. I mean, we can't be 5 to 10 years away from that.
Yeah, I'm good. I feel like I'm on my phone too much, and I don't want to be. I don't want it in my head.
It's legitimately addictive. Like it. I feel like like I said, I'm trying to keep myself off of it, and I'll catch myself like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, just get off of it. You have no reason to be on here right now, and and I've gotten so much better at it to where like you start doing that to yourself. Over the course of time, your brain eventually stops like fiending for it, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But it's that dopamine. You get addicted to that dopamine where you're just looking for something to ping that. You're looking for that adrenaline or that thing you were like, whatever. And I catch myself doing that on Twitter all the time where you're just like, you're waiting for that next thing to drop, and it was like, what the fuck I'm wasting time on here. Like, this is so silly, but it's a dopamine. Like same thing. Like you're at a wrestling event. This is the best description of it. We set pretty high for SmackDown the night before the Rumble. So we were sitting at SmackDown. Well, as soon as there was no action, you watched collectively all of the people take their phones out and start looking at their phones. And my kid looked at me and goes, that's a lot of phones. And I was like, yeah, that was crazy. It was like, as soon as there was a break in anything, like collectively you watch the entire audience's phone go, huh, and it was like, whoa, like that is insane that dopamine stopped and everyone had to find the new, like, oh, I need something to occupy my brain. I can't just sit here with my thoughts. That's not good. And like you watched thousands of people do the exact same thing at the same time because they couldn't. And I feel that because that's when I go to reach for my phone now that I'm trying to stop it. It's when you're bored, when you don't have something occupying your brain. So TV goes to commercial, phone, whatever. Like you're
what, you have commercials
on some stuff, yes. But like it's that same thing, like that dopamine goes away and you're hooked on it. So it's like, okay, how do I break this? How do I make this stop? And that's what it is. I've just had to keep telling myself, like catching yourself doing it, going, hey, get the fuck off there. Stop scrolling. Nothing on here is important. Go do something. And it's not easy, but it's just tough. my new thing that I'm working on.
It's tough. Oh well. I got to take a piss.
Well, and we probably need to get ready to head out to lunch anyway. We want to hit the sponsors real quick.
Let's hit our sponsors. We want to thank our gold sponsors for letting us do what we do. Happy's Barbecue, meat, eat, repeat.
You sound exhausted.
RJ's Formal Wear. They have sweet suits No, I'm literally holding my penis so I don't pee on myself.
Sorry
Wabash Valley Plumbing. They lay pipe.
for the cough in the middle of your ad.
Peak Performance Gym. No peak, no results. And Stitch Brands. They embroider stuff. Thank you once again. We are okay. Now we're back. We are out of here. Keep pushing. Love you.
Love you.